In an age where body modification is becoming increasingly popular, some take it to the next level. From the bizarre to the downright extreme, some individuals push the boundaries of what we once thought possible. These 15 individuals have gone to great lengths to transform their bodies into something almost unrecognizable. Brace yourself for a journey into extreme body modification, where limits do not exist, and the only boundary is the human imagination. 1. Tongue forking by Thibault Descamps. Meet Thibault, an 18-year-old from Nice, southern France, who had his tongue split. His reason for doing it is simple. He wanted to. Thibault had a clear vision of how he wanted his body to look, and he made it happen. As a child, Thibault always imagined having an eccentric body that reflected his unique personality, and the split tongue was a part of that vision. He describes himself as a strong and imposing character who is unapologetically strange. So, he was euphoric when the opportunity arose to make his vision a reality. Having your tongue split can involve either cauterization or surgery using a scalpel. The tongue is numbed with a local anesthetic before slicing down the middle. Each side of the newly split tongue is then sutured or cauterized to control bleeding and close the wound. Despite what you may think, Thibault doesn't remember experiencing pain or much blood during the procedure. However, he admits he couldn't swallow for about an hour after the surgery. And in the first week of recovery, he couldn't speak well. But after 5 days, the wound healed, and he talked normally. He even claims that having a split tongue forced him to articulate better. Thibault acknowledges that he does receive negative reactions to his tongue and other modifications, but that doesn't stop him from loving his new body. His Instagram photos are filled with comments calling his tongue sexy, gorgeous, and intriguing. And, while some people report changes in taste and difficulty speaking after having their tongue split, Thibault says he experienced no negative effects after the first week of recovery. 2. Bagel Head by Ryoichi Maeda. Maeda is a journalist and photographer. He has been chronicling the Japanese underground scene for the past 2 decades. He is also behind the bubbly saline injection-based forehead look, which has become incredibly popular in Japan. Despite the popularity of body modification in Japan, it is still considered taboo in some circles. Journalists who cover the subject risk their careers. So how does it work exactly? Ryoichi explains that it's a relatively simple process. Using a medical saline solution, they pump it into the forehead for about 2 hours until it's ready. Yes, 2 hours. But don't worry, the effects only last 1 night. By the next morning, the body absorbs the saline and everything returns to normal. One question that came to mind was whether the skin ever sags. Ryoichi reassured me that everyone he knows who has done it has had no problems. Their skin goes back to exactly how it was before. Interestingly, people can inject saline anywhere, not just the forehead, but the most popular place is definitely the forehead. And if you're wondering about the bagel head look, it's achieved by pressing your thumb in the middle of your forehead while the saline is pumped in. The result is a donut or bagel shape that looks pretty funky. 3. Elf Ear by Melinda Moon. Melinda Moon, a 23-year-old from Guelph in Ontario, Canada, transformed herself into a mythical creature straight out of a fantasy novel. Melinda's love for all things mythical led her to get her ears cut and shaped to resemble an elf, her favorite creature from the movie, The Lord of the Rings. She paid pound $250 to have the tops of her ear cartilage skinned, and a small triangle piece cut out from the tip to form the point, which was then pinched and stitched together to give the perfect elf ears. According to Melinda, pointed ears are the most adorable thing, and the elven attire is so elegant. She has always felt like she comes from a different realm and believes she was a fairy in her past life. Melinda's inspiration comes from the Lord of the Rings, with long hair, dresses, and closeness to nature. I have always had fantasies about what it would be like to be something other than human, so I decided to change my appearance to look supernatural, said Melinda. I will never go back to being human. Now I just lack the glitter and wings to fly. Melinda's transformation has left her feeling ethereal and beautiful, and it's not hard to see why. Her pointed elf ears are stunning, and her love for nature is infectious. 4. Extra large implants by Naileen Ashley. Nailene Ashley, a Miami-based model and Instagram influencer with more than 2.5 million followers, has undergone 3 boob jobs to achieve the largest legal implant size in the U.S., a whopping 1,250 cc. While her enormous assets have been her money makers, the busty beauty now wants them removed due to various health problems. In an interview with Jam Press, Ashley revealed that the heaviness of her huge bust has caused painful migraines and back tension. "Almost every day my upper shoulders and tendons have a lot of tension, and it feels like my shoulders and neck are stretched," she said. Although the implants have cost her more than $17,500, Ashley says that the pain has become too much to bear, and they prevent her from performing her workout routine properly. She plans to remove the implants and do a fat draft or get a smaller implant instead. However, several doctors have advised her that the surgery will be major, leaving a lot of scarring and tissue removed. So she plans to wait until she's done having children before undergoing the reduction. Ashley announced her plans on TikTok, where her video has received more than 3 million views and mixed reactions. While the blonde bombshell is known for her eye-popping assets, she wants her fans to be careful about what they wish for and understand the potential health risks of extreme body modification. 5. Full Body Tattoo by Lucky Diamond Rich. Lucky Diamond Rich's story is not just about the art of body modification, but about a life of dedication and creativity. His transformation from a teenage performer in a traveling circus to the most tattooed man on the planet has been incredible. With tattoos covering every inch of his body, Lucky has spent over 1,000 hours, equivalent to 41 days, getting inked, and when he ran out of space, he went back and covered his entire body again with new designs. That's a level of dedication that most people could only dream of. But Lucky's journey hasn't just been about tattoos. He has also stretched his earlobes, replaced his teeth with silver veneers, and has various piercings all over his body. He has become a work of art, and his unique appearance has earned him a place in the Guinness World Records as the most inked person in history. Despite the incredible pain of getting tattoos and undergoing body modifications, Lucky persevered and stayed true to himself. He is a true pioneer in body modification, proving that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. But Lucky's talents don't stop at his incredible body modifications. He is also a skilled performer who can juggle jigsaws and even swallow swords. Talk about taking performance art to the next level. 6. Flesh Tunnels by James Goss. Meet James Goss, a UK man who has broken the Guinness World Record for the most flesh tunnels on his face. With 15 piercings on his face, he surpassed the previous record of 11 held by German Joel Migler in 2020. His flesh tunnels range in size from 3 mm to 18 mm and include 2 in his nostrils, 2 at the corners of his mouth, and even 4 under his bottom lip. But what does he do with these piercings, you may ask? According to the GWR video, he can pass a ribbon through the flesh tunnels on his cheeks using wooden sticks and stretch the piercings with his fingers. When asked why he chooses to modify his body in such an extreme way, James has a simple answer. The more I change who I am on the outside to who I am on the inside, the more comfortable I feel. If I am comfortable with who I am, then other people's opinions don't matter. While some users on Instagram were shocked by his piercings, others couldn't help but wonder how he eats soup with them. But for James, body modifications have always been a fascination. "I have always liked the way a lot of body modifications looked," he shared in an interview with GWR. "When I was a teenager, I was very interested in tattoos and piercings and stretching my earlobes. The more I saw, the more I liked them." Despite the attention and recognition he's received for his record-breaking piercings, James has plans to continue for a while. He says, "I love how I look now, and I can't wait to see what I look like in a few years." 7. Rib Removal by Sophia Wallersheim. This reality TV star has taken the quest for the tiniest waist to new heights. The 30-year-old has undergone 4 rib removal surgeries to achieve her desired figure, but it seems insufficient. In her latest Instagram post, Wallersheim posed in a corset, showing off her tiny waist, and asked her followers, "Could be tighter?" While some of her fans expressed concern about her health, others supported her. However, the overwhelming majority voted against her, making her waist even slimmer. Despite the opposition, it is uncertain whether the reality TV star will be deterred from undergoing another rib operation. A pop singer, Wollersheim, had 2 lower ribs on each side surgically removed in the US last summer. The operation would have been illegal in Germany due to the risks involved. She says she was inspired by A-list celebrities like Cher and Brigitte Bardot, who allegedly had ribs removed to achieve their iconic looks. Wollersheim regularly shares photos of her changing body on social media and recently posted a #booty battle to show her followers the difference between her bottom in 2014 and 2018. 8. Extreme body piercing by Elaine Davidson. Body piercing is a practice that has been around for centuries, with some cultures using it as a form of expression, tradition, or even spiritual significance. In recent years, extreme body piercing has become more popular, with individuals pushing the limits of what is possible with their bodies. One such person is Elaine Davidson, a Scottish woman who has made extreme body modifications to her life's work. In 1997, she got her first piercing, and by 2000, she broke the Guinness World Record for the most body piercings on a woman, with 462 piercings, 192 of which were on her face. This achievement set her on a path of continuous piercing, and she has since amassed over 11,000 piercings on her body. For Elaine, her piercings are a form of self-expression and a way of life. She finds beauty in the shiny metal and enjoys the attention they bring her. Her love for body modification has led her to pursue other extreme activities such as martial arts, skydiving, and horse riding. She is also a fortune teller and tarot card reader and performs in circuses worldwide, where she showcases her unique abilities, such as sleeping on a bed of glass and walking through fire. While some may see Elaine's body modifications as extreme and disturbing, it is a source of pride and accomplishment to her. She is not alone in pursuing extreme body modification, with many others worldwide modifying their bodies in unconventional ways. For some, it is a way of reclaiming their bodies, while for others, it is a way to stand out in a world where conformity is the norm. 9. Eyeball tattooing by Marcelo B-Boy de Souza Ribeiro. When it comes to extreme body modifications, Marcelo is no stranger. This Brazilian man has made bold and daring decisions regarding modifying his body. Marcelo has metal fangs and a split tongue, and even had his eyeballs tattooed, a risky procedure that could lead to blindness. But why would someone willingly endure such pain and risk for a unique look? According to Marcelo, it's all about self-expression. He got the fangs because he liked vampires and had always liked participating in everything that involved art since childhood. Marcelo's passion for art and self-expression has made him a walking masterpiece, with over 98% of his body covered in tattoos. He sees his body as a canvas and has spent years transforming it into a work of art. However, Marcelo's transformation hasn't been smooth. The procedure to insert the fanged teeth cost him around 2,014 pounds, and tattooing his eyeballs left him in pain for a few days after the anesthesia wore off. Despite the discomfort, Marcelo loves his unique look and wants to look as sinister as possible. One might wonder what Marcelo's family and friends think of his appearance. According to Marcelo, they are accepting and supportive of his choices. In fact, his wife is also heavily tattooed and shares his passion for body modification. The general public's reaction is largely positive, with many people stopping to take pictures with him and asking about his unique look. 10. Corset piercing by Monique Millier. In San Francisco's Body Art Expo, where tattooed enthusiasts flock to see the latest trends in body modification, a young woman named Demetria Ruiz stood out. Her corset piercing, a row of rings laced with a ribbon on her back, wowed the crowd. While the corset piercing has been around for some time, it is now becoming more mainstream as young women like Ruiz are inspired by photos circulating on social media sites. "It's so elegant looking, Victorian and feminine," Ruiz said. "It outlines the curves and gives you an hourglass look." She and her friends, who also had their backs pierced, spent their time posing for photographers, giving impromptu lectures, and taking modeling requests. According to Jess McLaughlin, who has done 15 corset piercings in the past 5 years, most of her clients are women. However, One man even requested a corset piercing to wear to the San Jose Gay Pride Parade. Paul Stoll, the owner of the country's oldest piercing studio, Body Manipulations in San Francisco, said that corset piercing started in the gay community in the 1980s, and the 18 to 30 crowd has discovered a new arresting way to decorate themselves. Corset piercings are like new jewelry now. Some think they are beautiful. It's like taking a concept of something external, a corset, and internalizing it to accent your body. But the corset piercing isn't for everyone. Ruiz was even kicked out of her neighborhood coffee shop by the owner, who was disgusted by her back. The piercing is created by hand with a 14-gauge hollow needle, and each corset takes about 30 rings. Customers pay around $250, and public health officials urge people to be careful to disinfect the piercings, bathe in Epsom salts, and have the rings removed in time to avoid infection and scarring. 11. Subdermal implantation by Rolf Buchholz. This German man once held the Guinness World Record for the most piercings in the world, with an astonishing 453 pieces of metal adorning his body. But maybe that wasn't enough for him, because he also sports a pair of synthetic horns that protrude from his forehead. Rolf was recently spotted showing off his unique look at the International Brussels Tattoo Convention, which featured body modification enthusiasts from around the globe. Visitors were treated to heavily tattooed individuals, skateboarding displays, and a thrilling motorcycle wall of death. It's not just Rolf who has made headlines in body modification. In 2014, he was denied entry into Dubai because officials suspected him of witchcraft. But in reality, his horns are made of materials like Teflon, coral, or silicone, which are inserted beneath the skin of the forehead. As the skin stretches, larger and larger horns can be put in. Silicone subdermal implants create shapes like horns, snowflakes, skulls, and crowns on the skull, ear, or limbs. Unlike tattoos or piercings, these require surgery, with incisions made by a scalpel to create a pocket for the implant, and then suturing the incision site. The first person on record to have human horns was American sideshow performer The Enigma. He had a couple of silicone nodules installed beneath his tattooed face, creating a truly unique appearance. 12. Fang implantation by Dennis Avner. Have you ever felt like you wanted to be something else entirely? Well, Dennis Avner certainly did. The man, better known as Stalking Cat, spent years undergoing surgical procedures to transform his face and body to resemble a female cat. Unfortunately, Stalking Cat was found dead in his Nevada home last week in what appears to have been a suicide. Descended from Native Americans, Stalking Cat began his transformation after a chief told him to follow the ways of the tiger. He embraced his Native American heritage and went by his Native American name, Stalking Cat. On his now-defunct website, Stalking Cat explained that he was following an ancient tradition, saying, "I am Huron, and following a very old tradition have transformed myself into a tiger." Stalking Cat underwent a series of operations to alter his appearance, including bifurcation, the splitting of his upper lip, surgical ear pointing, silicone cheek and forehead implants, tooth sharpening, and facial tattoos and piercings. He even grew and painted his fingernails to look like claws. But one of the most intriguing procedures Stalking Cat underwent was fang implants. Fang implants are for those who want to make a unique body modification. They can be movable or permanent, and are fitted over the original tooth. Synthetic removable fangs can cost about $100 for each fang, while permanent sets done by cosmetic dentists may cost between $800 to $2,500 for 2 fangs, with the tooth filed down and a permanent cap placed over it. Custom-made fangs can be taken off and cost between $2,000 to more than $5,000. Despite his unusual appearance, Stalking Cat maintained his job as a computer programmer, and he even appeared on television shows like Ripley's Believe It or Not. But as his friend Shannon Larrett wrote in his blog post about Stalking Cat, he was a wonderful and complex person. He was as troubled as he was remarkable, and he recently took his own life at the age of 54. 13. Scarification by Blair McLean. Blair McLean is an abstract painter and pyrographer, but she's also known as a former body modification artist. For over 20 years, she practiced scarification, a permanent form of body modification that creates a scar by cutting through layers of skin. Scarification has a long history, originating from West African cultures, where it was used to signify identity and spiritual connection. For Blair, it's all about self-expression, and her work has received significant media attention. Scarification is not for everyone, but for some, it conveys that they don't want to fit into society in the ordinary sense. However, in Western cultures, it's also considered by some to be a form of cultural appropriation. It's important to understand the cultural significance of a practice before adopting it. Although Blair is no longer a body modification artist, she says that her work as an artist is influenced by her experience in scarification. Pyrography is her current focus, decorating wood or leather by burning a design on the surface with a heated metallic point. Blair's journey in art is a testament to the idea that creativity can take many forms, sometimes leading to unexpected places. 14. Earlobe stretching by Kala Kaiwi. For centuries, people have been finding unique ways to stand out, from tattoos to piercings. One such way is through ear stretching, a practice that has existed for thousands of years. However, one man from Hawaii has taken ear stretching to the extreme, earning himself a spot in the Guinness World Record book. Kala Kaiwi's non-surgically made stretch earlobes measure a staggering 109 millimeter, 4.3 inches, in diameter, making him the world record holder for the largest earlobes. While ear stretching has existed for centuries and is practiced in various cultures worldwide, enlarged earlobes are still considered a counterculture body modification in Western society. But for Kala, it is a way of life, and he has hundreds of other body modifications to show for it. It's worth noting that ear stretching has a long history in many different cultures. Ancient Egyptian pharaoh king Tutankhamun had ear stretches, and Otzi the Iceman, who dates back to 3300 BC, had ear stretchers and tattoos all over his body. The practice of ear stretching is still prevalent in some cultures today, particularly in Africa and parts of Asia. 15. Black Alien Project by Anthony Loffredo. If you ever looked in the mirror and thought, "I wish I looked like an alien?" Well, Anthony Loffredo has taken that thought to the extreme. Known as Black Alien, Loffredo has transformed himself into a real-life alien through a series of body modifications that would make even the bravest cringe. Loffredo has had his upper lip removed, nose cut off, ears removed, and tongue split. He has covered himself in tattoos and piercings, and even went as far as tattooing his eyeballs. Yes, you read that right. He tattooed his eyeballs. Talk about dedication to the alien look. But what's most surprising is that he has no regrets about these transformations. Although his speech is now impacted, he proudly wears his new look and even has a girlfriend who shares romantic moments with him. It takes real commitment to achieve the alien look, and Loffredo has gone above and beyond. He even traveled to Spain to have his nose removed, as it was illegal in his home country of France. Now that's what we call dedication to the cause. And let's remember the added reptilian twist he's given to his look with horn-like bumps on his forehead. Loffredo has truly taken the term extreme body modification to a new level. All of these people are trailblazers in the world of extreme body modification. Their piercings, tattoos, and other body modifications have made them unique and interesting individuals who have captured the world's attention. Which of these body modifications do you admire? Do well to share your thoughts in the comment section below.